Hi, everyone. Just want to double check. Can everybody hear us okay?
Yes, we can.
Thanks, Laura. All right. All right. So I would like to call the meeting to order at 3:01 with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we'll do a quick roll call. Supervisor Mark Bogie, he is excused. Clerk Stephanie here. Treasurer Joel.
Here.
Trustee Shelby.
Here.
And Trustee Nick.
Here.
All right, approval of agenda. The only thing on our agenda today for the special meeting is the DTE site plan application. We're reviewing that after receiving some additional items. There's one thing that is not on our little agenda here is approval of previous minutes would have been the October 9th minutes. So we'll do that after approval of agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Mark usually does this, so please catch me if I'm missing something. All right, previous minutes approval. So October 9th minutes. I had made sure they were on the website pretty quickly after the meeting, so everybody had an opportunity to take a look at them because they are 8 pages. And we'll be referring back to them a little bit during today's meeting to go over the conditions that we had talked about last time. So. Joel, any issues?
No.
Okay. Shelbs?
Nope.
No, all right.
I'll make a motion to accept that board minutes of October 9th.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, public comment on agenda items only, 2 minutes. Please note that public comment is not Q&A, so if you have any questions, please state them, and if we're able to answer them throughout the meeting, we will. Otherwise, if any of your questions have not been satisfied during the meeting, I encourage you to send me an email with them, and I will hopefully get them answered by the appropriate parties. So do we have anybody for public comment for agenda items? Go ahead, Tim.
Thanks, Tim. Do you happen to know, or I guess the question is, where the test wells are for north, south, east, and west of where they're doing it?
Meaning the water wells?
Yep.
We do have, we'll kind of go over that too in here. I don't have the addresses right here, but maybe Dave can speak to them. I do know that we've gotten 1 response out of the 4 that said it's okay to do their testing. So I haven't checked the mailbox today, but they are north, south, east, and west.
Your mind.
Okay, we'll keep that in mind. Anybody else?
Bonnie Mumford, Boy Regional Manager. I just wanted to acknowledge that we hosted a offsite responders tour of the test well, the mineral test well. We had representation from Milan Fire Chief, Saline Fire Chief, the Washtenaw Hazmat Coordinator, Jarvis, and we also had the Saline Fire Chief. And we took a tour of the site, answered questions, spent time with all of them, made sure that all their questions were answered. And then I did send the final site plan to both the Dundee Fire Chief and the Dundee Fire Chief and Milan Fire Chief on Tuesday evening. So I personally received acknowledgement back, and I believe there was a letter that came to the township on behalf of the Milan Fire Chief. So we thank them for their time, sharing their time with us. Thank you.
Was Celine there?
Celine was there, yes. Correct. Yeah. Celine, Dundee, Milan,
Oh, and
and the Washtenaw Hazmat Coordinator.
Anybody else for public comment? Anybody on Zoom like to make a public comment? Okay, moving right along. So the only item on the agenda is the site plan application. So you guys have a whole packet of things. I thought we would kind of go through the conditions that we had talked about last time, of the ones that still needed to be met, and just ensure that Dave's gotten all he needs, and kind of all the conditions have been met thus far. Does that sound okay? Okay. So one of the conditions that are that need to be met was a plan to ensure the future integrity of the caps, and I believe that is in our packet. Nick, I know that you kind of went through it, but they did give us a very detailed, I think it's in the site safety and health plan SOP. And Marlon, feel free to chime in if you know exactly where it's at, just so, 'cause I'm sure you have a lot more.
It's the plugging and abandonment plan that's in the supplemental site plan documents that were sent over to you yesterday.
Thank you. This one here,
It looks like this.
there's so many.
I know.
I was like, yes, here it is. So it's on this one that we have. So it's on the third page, pretty much,
Yep.
plugging and abandonment plan.
Yep.
So pretty much reads, upon completion of the drilling process, Project Greenstone will implement a permanent abandonment of the well. Eagle will oversee this process and ultimately sign off per the permit. All plugging will be required to follow rules 299.2431 to 2439 in the Michigan Administrative Code that relate to mineral test wells as outlined below, and they mapped everything out. And then for reference of a similar project nearby, there was a mineral well drilled 3,200 feet deep in Milan Township in 1984. Details on the plugging and abandonment can be seen on pages 23 through 26 of the document. One item of note is that this well's final cement capping occurred in the upper 30 feet of the hole. Project Greenstone's plan calls for cementing the upper 130 feet of the hole. Be interesting to see about that other mineral well. And then the different rules are outlined pretty explicitly. Nick, did you have any? Oh, you're not with us?
Yeah, fine.
Sorry.
I read it on my phone.
Yeah. This one right here. Marlon, how long does it usually take to plug a well like this?
Within a day.
Yeah, okay,
It just depends on conditions.
sure. Okay.
How much more does it cost to fill a whole well? Would it be absorbing it? I mean,
Do you not have one, Joel?
Way too much money to fill a whole well?
No, but I've looked at it, so.
It's not that.
The view is not necessarily about money, it's about the standard. Isolating the strata or the reservoirs as identified there by Eagle. Correct.
And you'll be putting those like what? Migrate to the strata?
Correct.
What do you put in the, what do you put in to stop the concrete?
Single time.
You're putting in concrete,
Cement.
cement, okay. So what do you put in to stop it from? You get your strata, your 130 feet or whatever you're gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
So when you say stop it, you mean stop it.
Well,
Like
when
what's
you
at the
pour it in,
130?
it's gonna keep going unless you put something in there to stop it.
No, so in terms of the waste distributed, there'll be.
Can you speak up a little bit? I can't really hear you.
There'll be a gel pill in between.
That's
each
right.
plug.
Gel.
Those gel pills,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was. I forgot about the gel. Yeah, we have a problem with these moving, busting off, slowing down.
There is a possibility, but that's the reason it's stated there, where we go in and we tag the plug to make sure it is where it's supposed to be.
What's the tag?
The tag is essentially, you allow it time to set up. You set down weight, or you run your drill pipe into essentially the top, and you'll feel the resistance, right? Because if you sit down weight, you'll be able to read that weight as opposed to being in a movable fluid where it's still buoyant. So you'll tag it, make sure that you see the weight, the plug is where it needs to be, and then you'll pull up and continue the process.
Why don't they do the whole well, Dave? What's the, you know?
What?
The whole well, why wouldn't they do the whole well? Is there an issue with doing the whole well?
I have the answer for you, and I don't think I can think of is, whatever they're using to plug the well with at night or whatever, probably costs more than, say, the general. That's the only reason I guess I didn't do that. Correct me if I'm wrong on that, but.
Yeah, again, the focus is adhering to the standard, the practice. And so as the practice is to make sure that we keep the different reservoirs isolated to prevent any potential crossflow or anything like that, that's what we're adhering to in that P&A process.
But if you fill the whole thing up, it would cross, would it?
That, yeah, it would, but at the same time, it's the understanding that the practice of setting your plug, tagging your plug, ensuring that it's there under static conditions, it still won't cross contaminate or have any crossflow.
Does a plug expand and it causes the friction between the pipe and the plug itself, which stops it from moving any further?
No, there's no expansion.
Such a-
Joel, did you have any questions? No. Joel? Thoughts, Nick?
Was the one in 84 plugged this way and how it was plugged?
The reference well in there,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
In 84,
So the standard really hasn't changed
we did the same.
for the most part. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Was that plug ever, was that well ever revisited to see what the status of it is?
I don't believe so. There's no additional update that we're doing after that.
Do you feel like this condition has been met, or what do you think, Nick?
I don't know why they're not filling the whole thing up myself. But I'm not a geologist, I'm just a guy. To me, you think if you fill the whole thing up, you wouldn't have an issue at all. You know, you're keeping it from going from A to B to B. I mean, once you close well up, go, you don't know what's happening in the well. You don't know if the materials, busted off, dropped down, or what. Obviously, you can't see it,
Right.
you know. It just seems that a good practice would be to completely fill the well,
Is-
in my book.
Is there any plan to like check back in like 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to look at the integrity of the well capping? Or is that something Eagle does? Or have you guys ever done that in the past? Is that anything?
Can't get in it.
Yeah,
Okay.
You wouldn't
I didn't know if there was a way to figure out if it's come loose and
Well, you wouldn't know
dropped or-
number 8 can lose because number 7's on
Fair.
top of it or whatever,
Fair.
you know.
and it's probably not something that could be negotiated to fill it all the way.
I would point out that the rules that Eagle has
Mhm.
talk specifically about using cement plugs or plugs approved by the supervisor of mineral wells. So they specifically require using the plugs when you go through each strata.
Got it.
So I think that's why we're doing it this way rather than filling everything.
So it's not technically your company and doing it the industry way. Eagles pretty much
Yeah.
identified that this is the standard,
Yeah,
right?
That's what the rules say. So,
Okay.
yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Any other questions, Nick?
No, I don't have any more questions on this.
Do we feel comfortable moving forward, or what are your thoughts with going to the next condition?
Yeah, we can.
Joel?
You know, so we've had a well that was 3,200 feet, it's been here since 1984,
And there's not been any issue
not an issue.
that anybody is aware
Right,
of.
aware of, yeah. Do we know what that is?
It says on FAR and somewhere in that paperwork.
It's not really close to this one.
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Shelves, any thoughts? So are we,
Oh,
Okay. yeah, so that's on the opposite side of the
Yeah.
township. Okay, so I'm gonna say that that condition has been met then. Dave, do you have any questions, concerns?
I don't have any other concerns.
Okay.
As long as they meet the legal requirements.
Okay. The next condition that we had talked about, and I'm gonna tag Dave in here a little bit, and Armin, so information regarding testing the well before and after drilling, meaning water well. So DTE indicated that they plan to test a singular well at Wholesome. This well will be tested daily to monitor any changes. It was discussed that the residential well should be tested at north, south, east, and west sides of the test well. Dave stated that he'll work on a plan to get this started. It was also asked that whatever well is being tested should be included on the site plan drawings. I'll double check that they were put on the site plan drawing. So Dave, can I tag you in a little bit to
Sure.
give a little bit more information about this?
I don't know if they have that information on the specific addresses that we have chosen for the wells themselves. Like you said, we only had one. What's critical for the township is that we'll be doing them independently. I noticed in their report that they would like to do just Wholesome, but I know we had the discussion we're gonna do north, south, east, and west. And the township will be taking care of that. Sure, it's a kind of independent study, number one. Number two, we've only got one bag, and when Stephanie was talking about the one bag we're talking about, we have to get permission to be on those people's property in order to test their wells, and we want it signed and let them know what we're doing and why we're doing it. And so we've already received one of the 3 bags so far, so I'm not sure we want to give addresses and put it on site plan if the people haven't said yes or no yet.
I agree, yeah. I don't think we can,
So
Do
that's
that,
where we're at
but-
on that.
okay.
And so I believe that everybody on the board here has a cost of the testing, we usually talk about almost doing it every day, but that seems almost kind of an overkill, so I changed it down to 3 times a week, which is probably usually better in case, but it's up to the board, if you don't have to do even 1 time a week, just to check the things, how things are changing, maybe at your discretion. And really, the only difference is the cost.
Mhm. And the cost that's on here, that was for 3 times a week? Okay,
3 days a week for 1 month.
3 days a
We're talking about having it done within a month, so.
And correct me if I'm wrong, we were wanting to get baseline testing done prior to them resuming drilling, is that
That's
correct?
That's
Okay.
what that's right. So
That's
we're
sort of
for
what
the
we're
other
waiting
three
for that.
to the baseline.
I will say that I sent out those certified letters Friday, Thursday or Friday of last week. So, and like I said, I've only received one back. I don't know how long we want to wait for,
I think we should call them and expedite it.
I agree. So I do have the addresses. I don't have their phone numbers, but I'm sure we can find that. Somehow.
We don't have the phone numbers either.
Okay,
And I would suggest that it comes from the township, because if it came from us, they would know.
Agreed.
who we are.
yeah.
So this is what they're gonna be testing for,
Yeah, that's the list, yes.
and I'm assuming they'll have the static water level measurements.
We're gonna be taking that first one. We'll take care of.
Oh, we'll do
those
that.
first. So we have.
So I'll plan on coming in, well, I can probably even after this meeting, look up their phone numbers and give them a call just so we can expedite that, so we can get this moving forward. Nick, did you have any questions on what they'll be testing?
No, he just answered my
Okay.
question on the static water.
Okay,
You were thinking 3 times a week, once a week?
You can do once a week. I mean, it's your prerogative again. We initially have it, the number we gave you right now is 3 times a week for cost. Right. Oh, yeah, well, we added them all. So then, right. So the numbers that you got there right now from Bergen is one testing well.
okay, so times 4.
Correct.
Okay.
The 973.
Four water wells, one time,
Is that price there?
yes.
Got it, okay.
I don't know if we need to do 3 days a week.
No.
I think
would say
once a week for a
once
month,
week, yeah.
Okay.
once a week
That's
for a
fine.
month.
Is there a way that we could do baseline testing on the one that we've already got approval for so that we could start going? Because I'm a little concerned that if we're waiting on approvals from the other 3 and they maybe don't give approvals or something, that it, could just indefinitely drag out.
I mean, my concern is that, I don't know what this wholesome well is.
Well,
It's,
let's talk about the one that's already signed.
Right.
Oh,
Right, that's what I'm
oh.
wondering, is if we could just get a baseline for that so that we can start while you're getting the approvals from the other 3, because I'm worried that if they don't give approval, then what?
Well, I think we can expedite it. Again, Stephanie's gonna call as soon as we get out of this meeting and see what the problem is. And we've got quite a few other wells we can always pick from, and we can go directly to them so we can expedite this.
Okay.
I understand your concern.
Yeah, do we have an understanding of how long the baseline testing would take once we get the approvals? Is that something that can be done on the same day? I just don't know. How quickly that can get done.
Do you remember? When would they be able to get out there when you give them the go? We can do the water table, that's coming out of our
Sure,
office.
okay.
For the conclusion. Okay. Well, the testing itself, the answers is gonna come back for about 5 days, but they get the testing pretty soon. Sooner.
I mean, and just in my naive thoughts, I don't think we need the actual results right away
I
to
agree.
allow them
Just
to
to
start,
test.
I
right?
agree, right.
As long as it's done prior to them starting back up again, so we have a clean baseline, even though they're already 90 feet in.
Right.
Would we all agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then,
Well, if we can't get something, and I know your concern is that, can we get the other 3 on board? If she can't get them on board, when Stephanie calls them and they're not, we can find more, but we can expedite that one if you want us to.
yeah, and I don't remember where the one is that already okayed it, but
Mr. Hauser,
yeah, I don't remember where he's at though. I mean, Tim has offered his, so,
he's just to the north, first house to the north.
okay, and Tim, you're north too.
I'm just, he's the first one right there, right, on Ann Arbor Road.
To the north of the site.
So you're further
Any
north.
idea how deep he is?
yeah, we have the well logic table we can bring with us.
Yeah,
I'm at 38 parts per million. I was 35 when they started all this, and now it's even worse. I got a guy coming out today to test my water again today.
okay, so we're just kind of talking about testing what we have, so.
So, we'll find out, tonight, and when you get back, after you call them, if they're available, we can get that taken care of, and then we can organize them all, maybe even tomorrow or Monday. or Tuesday.
Yeah, I would feel more comfortable getting a couple more than just one baseline.
At least two.
At least two, right? Get 50%,
Mhm.
I think
Okay.
is fair.
We'll wait for your call.
Okay, and like I said, I'll call them right after today's meeting, and most of our residents around that area are very aware of what's going on. I required a signature for the certified, so if they weren't home to sign, they very well may not have gotten a letter yet. So I'll call and get approval.
One
have
to
them
the
sign.
southeast is probably your most important,
Okay,
because that's
Southeast.
probably the direction of the water flow
okay,
toward Lake Erie.
okay. All right, so that one still has yet to be completed. Any required DNR approval, so it was discussed that no DNR approval is needed, Eagle approval was sufficient. We just wanted to reiterate being mindful of the season and migration patterns and all of that. And so we had discussed limiting the time of the project, obviously, and limiting the amount of light that's being used. Next was revised site drawings and the size requested by David Arthur Consultants. So they indicated that obviously there were changes on the last site plan, and we had asked that printed copies signed and stamped go to Dave's office. He has not received those, but from what you guys had said, you had sent them to our lawyer.
Correct.
So I'm gonna tag Mallory and or Laura if you guys had received any signed and stamped copies of the site plan. I know we received the link that we were able to print, but we had specifically asked printed copies to be sent to Dave's office.
I have not received any, and I don't believe Laura or Mike have either.
No, I haven't seen physical printed copies.
Okay. Is that something we can get expedited to Dave's office?
The printed copies of it?
Printed copies in the correct size that we had discussed, which was
24 by 36.
24 by 36, signed and dated, or signed and stamped.
Yeah, so we did send the signed and stamped one via email. I thought the discussion we had last time was that we would just email them and then you could print them.
I could
That
do
was
that too,
my
but I haven't
understanding.
received that either.
Okay, so I'll make sure. Mallory or Laura, could you send, I know Mallory, you had indicated that the file was too large, so you sent that link to me.
Yep,
Could we get that sent over to Dave?
yep, I'll do that right now.
Awesome, thank you. Okay. Proof of the performance bond or similar surety provided to Eagle. So that surety bond was provided to the board. It was only for 33,000. That was, we had discussed, was to be used for if Eagle came out, said that it wasn't capped appropriately, all that jazz was sort of to cover their stuff. So it was asked that DT and Patel take out liability insurance to make sure the township is covered if anything were to happen to the site. And potentially a reclamation bond to be received to make sure the land can properly be returned to ag if the developers were not were to not adequately return the land to its original state. And we had talked about the gravel being used from the parking lot at the site be dropped down the road for good neighbor actions. Was that something that was able to be looked into, that liability insurance?
Yeah, I think that was done. As far as I know. And
Do we
then
have proof of that?
I could step outside and call him if you want.
Yeah.
I do believe he was looking into that, and the gravel's not an issue.
Okay, yeah, if we can get proof of that, because, yeah, we need to lay eyes on it. Thank you. Written confirmation that Milan Area Fire Department reviewed the site plan and approved emergency access provisions. So we also indicated that Dundee should be included as well. So in your packets, there is letters from Dundee and Milan indicating that they did a walkthrough along with the Washington County Hazmat. And everything looked good. Chief Modelinsky said everything looked good. And so did Chief Carpus. So I think that issue has been met. So, and then Dave also indicated the following should be included in the condition. So inspection of the stormwater, to make sure the runoff from the site is not going into the river surrounding the areas. I know that our lawyers had provided a new resolution for us, so we'll make sure that that's in there. And then we did request that Dave be given access to the site to make sure conditions are being met. I know Marlon, you had said you were gonna check with your project manager, or whoever you're working with, to see if that would be a possibility.
Yeah, we sent over, I believe, the required training that needs to be taken care of, but also getting an understanding of what access to site means, because we'll have to have supervised, right?
Sure.
Just to-
So I've worked for Amtrak and even refinery, so I know that process.
Which process?
In order to get available to get on a piece of property, if there's any miscellaneous training is necessary.
No, I understand that, but the training needs to be completed before
That's
anyone
fine.
come on site. So we sent that over.
You send it to the lawyers?
Yeah, we got it. We have not talked with them about it yet.
Okay.
That was not something that came up when we were reviewing the conditions, so,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. We can
So-
send the training information. over.
That would be great. And as long as, we can make sure Dave gets the training, and I mean,
It's a
you've-
safety training more than anything.
yeah, and you've worked with big projects before, and I'm sure he would be more than happy to work with you guys if you have a point person that he can contact if he wants to come check out things,
Particularly interesting.
Oh. Fair. Okay, so that training will be sent. And then a list of expectations of what needs to be tested for the water well baseline and continuous testing. So Dave provided that to us, which we have a Paragon. So I think that is all good to go. We had discussed hours of operation. We all agreed on 24/7 would be fine as long as the noise and lighting were taken care of.
Yeah, report. So
Yeah,
he
go
said,
ahead.
he said yes, $3 million. The township was added, the county was added, 250,000 per incidents, pollution control. If the gravel is in good condition, we're happy to donate it. And he'll send something over. They were waiting on the final binder, information from the insurance company. to
Okay.
send.
Yep,
Okay.
so I'll just mark that as pending until I receive confirmation of that.
He's gonna try and get it to you today.
Okay. So outside those conditions, do we have any questions, concerns? Anything that we just discussed? Because then I'll go through the resolution that our lawyers drafted up for us.
Is that a bond?
It's an insurance, and we've added
Insurance.
both the township and the county.
Mark said that we just want to make sure that nothing is being paid by taxpayers.
Yep, and that will be outlined in the resolution as well. Yep, absolutely. All right, any questions about any of those conditions? Dave, did you have a question?
I saw the sound panels are up, that's good, but also part of your project, you're saying that you're gonna use the corn as a sound barrier too, then you're not gonna harvest,
Right now, there wasn't any attention to.
you're not gonna harvest. Okay, because everybody's harvesting now, that's why I was asking.
Have you talked to them on their schedule of when they're gonna be over there taking it down?
Taking what now?
For the harvesting, like whoever you have that's gonna be taking the corn out
Doesn't sound like they are going to be harvesting
at all,
At all.
ever?
Well,
during this project.
during the project, no.
Yeah, that's why I was just wondering if they, you had a schedule for when they were gonna do it, if it was after or anything like that.
That we- yeah, no, I haven't spoken to them.
But there is a plan that it's going to stay up until the project's done. Okay. Any other questions, Dave, about that?
That's good.
All right, Nick, did you have any questions regarding what we just went over?
No, I'm good on mine.
Shelves? Joel?
Good.
Okay. So looking at the resolution that our lawyers had drafted up for us, the front page is just all the whereas of kind of how we got to where we're at this point. Second page is conditions of approval. So section A is just compliance prior to any additional drilling. This was part of the resolution last time, and something that DT and Patel have indicated that no drilling shall take place until all the conditions have been met. So additional documentation and information required. Most of this has been completed. So list of chemicals we've received, a plan to ensure the future integrity of the caps. We received information regarding testing of the mineral test well before and after drilling. I believe we received that. A site safety plan, got that. Revised site plan drawings include the following: identify existing buffers and include photometric plan to verify all lighting is fully shielded. That is on its way to Dave, and I will get the okay from him once you do receive it, and that's all met. Proof of the performance bond or surety or similar surety, we did receive that. Copy of the H2S contingency plan, we did receive that. Results of baseline water testing from nearby water wells, we are still awaiting that. Testing. Written confirmation of fire departments, we did receive that. Written clarification of the purpose of the flare stack, we did receive that. And then the copy of driveway permit, we did receive that. So the only two items we're still waiting on is the okay from Dave about the site plan drawings, and then awaiting the testing for the baseline water from nearby water wells. C is compliance with Eagle permit. So all of this is part of their Eagle permit that Eagle will be overseeing. We just wanted it outlined in here. And then future amendments to Eagle, we kind of went over that if Eagle amends, supplements, or supersedes conditions under the permit, the most current Eagle conditions shall control and shall automatically be deemed incorporated as conditions of the site plan approval, provided they are not less protective. And then conformance to submitted site plan and application materials. The project shall be constructed, operated, and maintained in strict conformance with the site plan and all supporting materials submitted with the application, including but not limited to the site and well pad survey, driveway plan, soil erosion and sedimentation control plan, equipment layout, lighting plan, noise minimization plan, emergency contact, and citizen hotline procedures. F is assurance regarding temporary water well and future use of property for CO2 sequestration or injection. As a condition of site plan approval, DTE expressly affirms and agrees that notwithstanding Eagle permit, no temporary water well will be installed on the subject property, and therefore no temporary water well shall be permitted on the subject property without approval of an amended site plan. Additionally, the subject property shall not at any time be used for CO2 sequestration or injection. These assurances are binding on DTE and its successors and assigns. So this is only allowed to be a test well. We will not allow any other uses for this well. Hours of operation, we said okay for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Completion date, DTE expects to cease use of the temporary mineral test well and associated improvements within 45 days after drilling resumes. In the event activities have not ceased within 45 days after drilling resumes, DTE will provide the township with weekly progress reports until the activities have ceased. Compliance with township engineering standards. So the applicant shall comply with the applicable township engineering standards, which were provided to them previously, providing, again, the township with updated drawings, but we had indicated that Dave has the ability to get them printed. J is escrow amount. So DTE has submitted a check in the amount of $10,000 to cover the application fee and escrow deposit requested by the township. DTE shall deposit an additional $20,000 for this escrow account. This amount will be held in escrow by the township in DTE's name and will be used to cover reasonable fees charged to the township for any expenses incurred during the site plan review process. The initial amount held in escrow is not sufficient to cover the costs necessary to complete the site plan review. Then DTE shall deposit additional funds into escrow in a reasonable amount to be determined by the board. The township treasurer will maintain a record of all deposits and withdrawals from this account and will provide DTE with detailed invoices for the fees incurred. The township shall refund DTE any excess funds remaining in the account after final action is taken on the site plan. K is water testing. So DTE has assured the township it will conduct baseline water testing, subsequent daily water testing, and final water testing after the remediation of the subject property is complete. The results of these tests must be provided to the township as soon as is practical after DTE receives such results. I know this was a conversation between Mallory, Dave, Armin, and myself. I don't know if we want to, because I feel like there's two different testings so if there's correct me if I'm wrong, are we still doing daily testing or is it just going to be the residential ones once a week for 30 days.
Our responsibility to be once a week for 30 days.
Okay.
Yes, once a week for 30 days, including baseline.
Okay, and you guys are not going to be doing any additional water well testing with Wholesome or anything if we're doing this residential stuff. Is that accurate? Or are you guys still, you're still going to test? Okay. So, Mallory and or Laura, could we just get that, a little more fleshed out in the resolution to say that the township is going to be providing, baseline and final water testing and once a week testing for residential,
I would say
up to 4?
because we said at least 2.
Oh, yes, up to 4 residential properties, and that DTE will be responsible for their water well testing, and that's gonna be at the Wholesome water well, correct? Okay, at the Wholesome water well, still gonna do it daily, or is that gonna be a weekly thing, or
We're sticking with that.
daily, same time?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so daily right now, about the same time of day at the Wholesome water well. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Thank you. The town, go ahead.
Maybe I can say up to 4, no less than 2.
Could we say that? Thank you, Mallory. Thanks, Shelbs. So also the township shall contract for groundwater monitoring with third parties. So that's that Paragon that Dave had talked about. Such testing will be conducted 3 times per week for 1 month. Could we get that changed, just that once a week for a
Yep.
month? Thank you. And DT shall cost cover the cost of this testing, which is estimated to be $16,766.76. Since we're limiting it to once, can we change that amount to make sure it reflects the once a week for a month?
Yeah, if you guys have an estimate of what that would be, or we can just, not put a specific number in there.
Okay,
Don't put specific.
we won't put a specific number. We can just say however much that's gonna be.
Okay.
Just, you guys can do your magic with those words.
Yeah, we get less than that.
Yeah. And then however, DTE shall be liable for the full cost of this testing by accepting this conditional approval. And then L is ongoing compliance with zoning ordinance. So the applicant shall comply with all applicable provisions with the Milan Township zoning ordinance. So that is that. Questions, concerns with that resolution?
Those testing parameters.
Yeah, I can get you a copy of that. Yeah. I don't have a printer in here, outside printer right now, but I'll get it after the meeting for you. Any questions, concerns about that resolution?
No.
I got a question on escrow account.
Mhm.
It says that the amount will be held by escrow by the township, blah, 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 for expenses incurred during the site plan review process.
Mhm.
What about after the site plan review?
What,
Like, should it say, you're saying, should it say during site plan review and ongoing operations of the test well?
Until they're gone, I would think.
because we're gonna be,
The course of the project.
yeah. Can we get that changed as well, Mallory or Laura, saying something along the lines of the escrow that they'll be responsible to, that escrow account will be used for site plan approval and any additional procedures throughout the project?
Let me check your zoning ordinance and get
Okay.
back to you on that.
Awesome. Thanks, Mallory. Any other questions, concerns?
No.
Okay. Did you guys have anything? I know we just,
I'm still having some heartburn about the residential water wells. I don't want to, and Laura and Mallory, I mean, I'd like to get your thoughts on this too, because I'm concerned that if we don't get approvals from that and, this kind of drags out for a while, we'll just be sitting and waiting.
I'm sorry, Shelby, it was a little hard to hear you. What approvals are you talking about?
Yeah, so I said I'm having a little bit, and this is Ashley, I'm having a little bit of heartburn about waiting to resume drilling until there's approval from, it sounds like maybe it's 2 now, but up to 4 neighbors. If we're not able to get those approvals, and then we're just kind of sitting in limbo waiting. I don't know if we can maybe put an end date on it, if there's some way we can sort of box that in.
Yeah, if that's something the board wants to do, we can definitely include that.
I
You
mean,
want to check your mail and see if you go out today?
yeah, let me run out there real quick. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
We could put a date on it.
That's
too,
kind of what I was wondering, if there's just a way that we can sort of,
Within X, whatever.
yeah, something like that.
I don't know how you've been dealing with them, how hard it is to get them to.
No, we'd like to get Paragon even started Monday. And if we get them started Monday, and if we can get even just one more person involved, so we have 2 wells at a minimum, like you're talking about, we shouldn't have any problem with that. Cause I know that people wanna know how their wells are, so.
So we can put a date in there.
Okay, okay, yeah, that, we would appreciate that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll, we'll work with Dave, what he thinks is a, doable date. If
Monday,
it's,
Tuesday are very doable, we should be able to pull that up.
it's
Armin
Thursday.
will put her charm on, try to get him out here, so.
So could we say that if we don't get up to 2 landowner approvals by Monday, then you'll just do the testing and we can proceed, is that?
That would probably be okay. What they're saying is that they'd like to at least get testing started Monday, and try to get somebody on board, even if we have to go to their house to get signatures.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I did get
Okay.
so somebody did receive it. I will call him
Okay.
right after this meeting to see if I can even just go pick up the piece of paper and we can move forward.
Give us 2 addresses and we'll get them out there.
Okay.
So she probably still wants a date, so we're gonna say Monday or Tuesday? Give us,
Let's say Tuesday.
yeah, give us a day there, just to.
But if we have those 2, once we get them tested, if we can get Paragon out there even tomorrow to grab those tests, then we can move forward from there, correct?
As soon as we get the test, you're good.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you
We're not gonna wait for a
drawn.
response, because some of them are like E. coli 48 hours, that kind of thing. but-
I'm just saying put an end date on it, so
Yeah.
that if we don't get the 2 approvals by
By Tuesday.
Tuesday, then we can.
If
go
you
ahead
think,
and start.
if you think that's, we got one right now.
Yeah, we got 1.5.
One and a half.
Yeah, I think Tuesday is reasonable.
Yeah, Tuesday's reasonable, we, then we'll get things going again.
Okay,
So if we don't, so just so I understand,
Yeah.
so Tuesday will be the cutoff to get approval. If we don't get approval,
We'll use the one.
we'll use the one.
Why don't we use the one and we can do a split testing with them on the Wholesome? Because that's to the southeast,
We do that.
which is
I
four
don't
feet
have
here.
I'll have to talk to them, see what they're doing testing versus what we're testing. We're more concerned about
Yeah,
potable,
correct.
potable water,
Sure.
so.
Yeah, we can test what, we can test what we want.
Right.
If we can use it that well, if we don't get this other.
And you've already got permission from Bolton, right?
Yeah, that's why I'd like to see what parameters y'all are testing.
Sure.
So then we will say, I'll say you can have that too, Marlon.
I got a note on there, don't read it.
Okay, so so we're gonna say, approval,
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Is
And if we don't have 2 wells, we'll do.
We'll do
They'll
wholesome.
allow us to do testing at Wholesome also.
Okay,
Then we'll have 2, then we have one to the north,
yeah, that will
Yeah.
give you your 2.
one to the
That's why
north and one to the south.
no less than 2 up to 4.
The Wholesome's probably to the southeast a little bit.
Yeah, it is.
Just also use that for drinking water.
No,
It's just a test well for them.
it's a supply well, but they don't use it for as a whole.
They use it
Drinking.
for washing, they use it for gravel wash.
so that'll be a different,
No, not
That-
gravel wash, no.
What do they use it for then?
I think it sources one of their facilities in terms of, like the sink and things of that nature, but I don't think they consider it potable drinking water.
So they never test for E. coli and things that are potable water. Let's go with what we got right now and we'll be able to test that one maybe.
yeah. I mean, I have a feeling we'll, if I'm able to reach out directly, especially since this person already has seen the letter, we probably shouldn't have any issue, but I agree putting a time frame on it. So at least we get something going. So my only So really the only thing that we're waiting on then, the conditions that we had discussed was Dave to make sure he gets his site plan, stuff. Proof of the insurance policy. And Molly, they were sending it to me specifically?
Yes, Harry's sending it to the township to you.
Okay, I've not received it yet, but, so we're waiting on that. And then training for Dave to get access to the site while working with Marlon to make sure he gets access appropriately based on. So really, it's just the baseline water well testing and then just some administrative things that need to be wrapped up. Thoughts, concerns, next steps? I mean, we have a couple different options. We can approve with conditions saying that, you know, we gotta make sure all the stuff is wrapped up before moving forward, or obviously denial, but,
I think the proof pending is fine.
Joel, thoughts?
Yeah, approval with these conditions.
With- Okay,
Cause it seems
Yeah.
like everything else is already
As long as
in the works,
Yeah.
it's just probably end of
Insurance,
business
right,
tomorrow.
insurance
everybody will
on
have
well.
it.
correct, yeah, I think the water well testing and the insurance are the two big caveats, so, I'm good with that too, so I make a motion to approve the site plan conditionally. And Mallory and Laura, if I state this incorrectly, please chime in.
And are you going to just make a motion or are you going to move to approve the resolution?
Thank you. See, this is why I told you to stop me before I went too far. See, this is why we have smart people on our team. Yes, so I make a motion to approve the resolution pending the water well testing baseline being completed, the training being sent over to Dave for access, and the proof of the insurance plan and the site plan drawings to Dave.
What we'll do, we'll just write you a letter saying that if it complies, and we're fine, it complies, and that'll be part of the overall final solution.
Perfect. Does that sound good?
So there are, I think, changes, Mallory, correct me if I'm wrong, changes that the board during discussion has asked us to make to the resolution. Do you want us to read those back so that that's the resolution that you're moving to approve? Pending, or
Yes, that would be great.
or Mallory, if you have a different idea.
Yeah.
No, I think that makes sense. I've been trying to edit it as we've been going. So we will see if I got it right. One thing I know that I don't think I have changed is you mentioned like proof of insurance.
Mhm.
I want to make sure that I have that part right. Are you just saying that you want to make sure that you
Yes.
receive that?
Yes, so Molly indicated that there is a $3 million insurance policy that was taken out for the township and county. We need proof of that before anything can be moved forward.
Okay, and so that's different than that performance bond that's in B.
Correct, yep.
Okay,
That's through Eagle, and so this is a separate insurance policy. And so
Okay.
we'll need a certificate of,
proof
Insurance.
of liability insurance.
yes, that is great, thank you.
Okay.
And
So,
then, sorry, Mel. The items in the motion said approve the resolution pending certain items. Are we going to add those as conditions to the resolution, approve the resolution, or?
They're already in the resolution, but they have not been met yet.
So it's really still, it's approved, and perhaps the resolution should also say conditionally approving in the title, Mallory?
yep, I'll change that. I know it says it in somewhere else, but I'll change the title.
Because if those conditions are already in the resolution, you are then moving to approve the resolution, which in itself has the conditions built in, rather than saying your approval of the resolution doesn't take effect yet, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah. See, that's why I wanted you guys to pipe in, because, you know, we do it wrong.
Two of us, so Mallory can type it out while I'm talking.
Yes. I don't know, is the best method, and maybe Laura, you have thoughts on this, for me to reread the conditions or just what's been changed and added?
Any conditions that have been changed, I will read out loud.
Okay. Let me finish typing this one in about 2 minutes or less.
Ashley, is that approach okay with you?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Thanks, Laura.
I just want to clarify a point. You're saying that one way or another, when it comes to water testing, Tuesday, we begin as long as everything else has been met, if we're still discussing water testing?
Yeah,
So Tuesday, we have to have baseline either from 2 of our residents or 1 of our residents in Wholesome.
Mhm. And we
It-
can,
And as long as everything.
And
else
as long
is-
as everything else has been met per the, what Mallory and Laura are gonna,
send over.
and say right now what changes, as long as all those conditions have been met, you can move forward.
so we can get the testing people out there. I mean.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that even if something happens, like they're gonna say can't get out to Wednesday, I think Tuesday's still a good drop dead day for them to start again. We'll definitely be able to get, the baseline on the, water table right off the bat. We can do that Monday morning.
Okay.
So that would be one of the more bigger important things that we've always been talking about.
Mhm.
And then even if we're gonna try to get them out Tuesday morning.
Okay.
We're gonna request that. And if it's not Tuesday, it'll be Wednesday, but we're gonna try for Tuesday right now.
Okay,
But we can start drilling
but
again on Tuesday.
but they're good for Tuesday.
I agree.
Okay.
As long as everything else has been
Yep,
met.
understood. Yep, okay.
So the deadline would be essentially end of day Monday.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay. Then I think I'm ready to read back the changes unless there's anything else. And of course, stop me along the way if I have something incorrect or anything like that. So the resolution is retitled Resolution Conditionally Approving DTE Electric Company's Greenstone 1 Well Pad Site Plan. Then under the conditions, under B, we've added a new section B12, Proof of Liability Insurance. Under the escrow account, we've modified one sentence right in the middle there to read, this amount will be held in escrow by the township in DT's name and will be used to cover reasonable fees charged to the township for any expenses incurred during the site plan review process and during the monitoring and enforcement of this conditional approval. And then the remaining is the same. Going down to that section K, it's been tweaked a bit, so I'm going to read it in its entirety. DT has assured the township it will conduct baseline water testing, subsequent daily water testing at the same time each day, and a final water test after all remediation of the subject property is complete. Such testing will be done at the well commonly known as the Holcomb Well. The results of these tests must be provided to the township as soon as is practicable after DT receives such results. The township shall contract for groundwater monitoring with a third party. Such testing will include baseline testing, weekly testing for 1 month, and a final test conducted. Just and a final test. DT shall be liable for the full cost of this testing by accepting this conditional approval. This testing shall be done on at least 2 but up to 4 residential wells. If the baseline testing on these wells is not completed by the end of day on Monday, October 27th, 2025, such delay will not prevent DTE from resuming the project so long as all other conditions are met. That was a lot, so is that what the township board wants for that section?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think that covered everything,
Yeah.
Dave.
Is she gonna put wholesome?
Is
She
it,
said Holcomb.
yeah, is it HOLCIM?
Yes, and I knew that was gonna be a challenge to say.
No worries, no worries.
Okay, and then I added another section M titled Engineer Access. DT will permit the township's engineer to reasonably access the site. The township engineer will abide by all required trainings and protocols to access the site.
Marlon
Okay,
did have
he's got
a,
a
yeah,
question.
Marlon did have a correction a little bit.
Okay,
We're not able to gain access on the weekends to their facility. So-
Okay, so
So it'll be,
So during weekdays,
yeah.
it'll be a daily water testing for Wholesome on weekdays only.
so is it business days, like
Business days.
Monday through Friday or Monday through Saturday?
Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday, okay.
Every industry is different.
Yeah.
so.
okay, so subsequent daily water testing at the same time each day on weekdays.
Correct.
And Dave, there, something popped in my head. What happens if, the project goes longer than a month?
Well, you also have a contingency in there saying that, DTE will pick up any additional costs. So I think that's pretty much covered. We're assuming it's gonna be 1 month, might be 1 month and 1 week.
Sure.
We're still gonna have to continue the 1 week and, try to have some more, based on this, would we have to pick that up?
Okay. Do we need to reiterate that anywhere, Mallory or Laura? If the project goes longer than a month, are we still covered that if it goes like a month and 2 weeks, they'll still have to cover those 6 weeks of testing that we do?
I'm going to rephrase it. So such testing will include baseline testing, weekly testing for the duration of the project, if that's appropriate for everyone on the call.
I think that sounds good.
Okay.
So if I make my motion again, just to make sure my wording is correct. Motion to approve the resolution
With the effective changes.
with the effective changes. Does that sound good?
You motion to approve resolution conditionally of electric company's Greenstone 1 well pad site plan as revised during this meeting.
Oh my gosh, you want me to say that? Okay. I make a motion to accept the resolution approving DTE Electric Company's Greenstone 1 well pad site plan
As revised during this meeting.
as revised during this meeting. Jeez, Pete.
Now second.
Thanks, Joel. Gosh. I swear, I'm a smart person. We will do a roll call. Clerk Stephanie, yes. Treasurer Joel,
Yes.
Trustee Shelby,
Yes.
and Trustee Nick.
Yes.
Perfect. There were some questions that I had received from some residents that I just wanted to go over just to make sure that they were documented. So one question was, could we hire our own inspector to watch over the drill project and have DTE Patel pay for it, including room and board? I talked to our lawyers. That is not something that is appropriate. This is a project that is approved by Eagle. They will be overseeing it. We just want to make sure that they are within our zoning ordinances, and that is what we're responsible for. So ultimately, that would not be something that could happen. So one resident asked if we should be meeting with Eagle. Can we meet with Eagle? So Eagle has already approved this permit. Not sure what the purpose of the meeting would be, seeing as it's already been approved. But residents with environmental issues can contact Eagle's Environmental Assistance Center. There was another question about, the permit and making sure that it was, appropriate, for the situation. So again, Eagle has already approved the permit. We have no authority to review the permit application itself. If the township approves the site plan, it will make as a condition that the subject property may not be used for CO2 sequestration or injection, which we have already done and DT has agreed to. Another question was, as a test well, can they test CO2 just as a test? Again, this is an exploratory well, a type of test well drilled to determine the geology of the area. DT will not inject CO2. Even as a test, they are not allowed to do that based on their Eagle permit and our conditional conditions within the site plan. DT will be taking samples of the earth beneath in the well for research. Additionally, a condition of the approval is that the well not be used for CO2 sequestration or injection. Another question was, did the residents or the board submit a formal comment to Eagle before the permit was approved? So again, we didn't know that the permit was even requested. So we were not able to submit a comment because we didn't know it was happening. And public comments are submitted before decision is reached on the application for an Eagle permit. But again, the township was unaware of the DTE application for this permit after it was issued. So that unfortunately was not something that we were able to do. So I just wanted that on record that those questions were asked and discussed, or asked and answered. So any questions on that? Is there anything else before we go to public comment? No? Okay. We will move to public comment for 5 minutes. I will reiterate that public comment is for just that, public comment. There will be no Q&A. So please ask your questions. Please be respectful. If you have questions that were not answered during today's meeting, please send them to me via email and I will get them to the appropriate parties to be hopefully asked. So go ahead, Tim.
I have a question. This well that's to the north of where they're drilling that you guys are using, if it's not 150 feet or more, say it's, use this for example, if it's only 80 foot in the ground and they're drilling 4,500 foot, what's to say that their veins aren't going to cross with somebody else's well or draw their water out when they're like 180 foot in the ground? Understand what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
And the second question is, how can they reassure that one vein, when they're drilling, isn't going to cross to another vein and contaminate somebody's well water? Because I'm one of the few in this area that have a well. I know there are others, but down in my area, right by me, I know the guy that you're using his well, he hauls his water, so he doesn't even use that for drinking water. So I do.
Okay.
And the third question is, how far can they drill each day? On average, I guess.
Did you want to answer that now or do you want me to send that via email of how you send it? Okay. Okay. Is that Alton?
I still want him to use my well.
Okay.
I'm to the north, the one that you're talking about, he's more to the northeast. I'm straight north of where they're at.
Okay.
My well sits directly north
Okay.
of where they're at.
Thank you. Anybody else? Go ahead, Sharon. Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
So do we assume that the day they pull out, the wells are all fine? What about water testing for the local homes,
Thank you.
say, 6 months from now? Or 3 months, you know, for chemicals and, because if it, the plugs don't, you know, work, it could drain out a whole aquifer, you know, out of one system and they'd be out of water in 2 months. Is there any long-term testing plan? Who's gonna pay for that? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Sharon Worcester, I was just wondering where they got their information on the 1984 well on Far Road and who put it in? And how was it capped? Where was Eagle? Because Eagle is so behind on capping that this 25-30 day deal is not going to happen. And then is Eagle gonna be on site 24/7 or whatever, you know, what, is Eagle gonna come visit? And when they do come visit, what days are they gonna come? Is it once a week, twice a week? And then, yes, inspecting. But the 1984 well, I would like to know about. And then I would like to ask Patel, which I know it'll be a comment. Are they looking at drilling 3 other wells around Milan Township? on their little pamphlet that they show 4 wells. So, I'm just wondering what is going on with that.
Anything else?
Sure, I got 4 minutes, right? You guys wanna stay here, it's a beautiful day, right? And I just don't understand why we don't have Eagle here in the room while we have Patel and DTE. They're supposed to be protecting us, and they're not even here to protect us. So, and our environment. It's just Eagle. All I keep hearing is just Eagle, Eagle, Eagle. You know, that's what they're doing. That's, you know, they gave them the permit. I would like to see the permit and make sure that it's all correct, because like I said about the well, that needs to be resubmitted because of that 100-foot or whatever the water well is supposed to be. That's just something that we want to be sticklers on everything. That should have been a red flag right there saying, you need to go back and resubmit because we are not going to do a well, correct? So again, I'm not feeling warm and fuzzy about this. But I do have faith in you guys, and I'm hoping that you've done a lot of research, and there's a lot of questions, as in, give me a second. What does the permit say? Because there are words that state a CO2. There's wording, and I'm sure it's your lawyers can look into that, as in there's certain types of words that make it a CO2 injection. So what's the volume on this? You know, what's the substance that will be injected if it becomes a CO2? And as of right now, it's the depth of it that's scaring me, because it's 4,300 feet. That is telling you something right there. That's making a bigger picture. How deep was the one in 84? Was that 36? So we're going 1,000 feet more. That should be something that we should look into. Let's see, and we do have our emergency procedures in if there's leakage or anything like that, correct? Binding insurance. And I just hope that we can close this chapter. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else in the room before I move on to Zoom?
Oh. Was I already done? I wasn't done. No, I wasn't done, did I say?
One more question.
Okay, one more question. My question is, why is Battelle picking the state of Michigan when they're from Ohio? And then why are they picking Monroe County?
Okay.
And then with Monroe County, why are they picking Milan Township and Lenawee, part of Lenawee?
Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else in the room? Anybody on Zoom have any questions? Or public comment, I should say.
I don't have any questions, but for some reason, we've had no picture on Zoom, only sound. I thank you for that anyway.
I'm so sorry about that, Aretta. Oh, it looks like it's frozen. So as long as, but you have had volume, right? You've heard us.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we had picture at the beginning, and then it froze, and then we got nothing.
All right. Well, thank you. I'm glad you guys still have
Okay.
audio, but I'm sorry that.
Thank you.
I'm sorry you didn't get to see our faces.
No problem. I know what you look like.
Thanks, Aretta. Anybody else on Zoom? Okay. Let me. Oh, there's all the,
Yep.
it's frozen. Okay. All right. So for that, I make a motion to end the meeting at 4:16.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Adjourned.
Have a good one, everyone.
Thanks, Laura.
Thank you, Laura.